There we go. So with our recesses, the nurse had said, well, you know, there is always a slight risk because there is a contact, but it is low risk. And we just chose for this first one, you know, they were going to want to see each other. I mean, we played shadow tag with the older ones. We played shadow tag. We played, they drew, we did relay races. The older kids, they just wanted to talk. So, and then thank goodness Miss Kim, she put out the bubbles for us, so that was fun for kindergarten. But we have found some ways that we can use balls successfully too. Each classroom cohort will have, each classroom will have 2 balls, like a playground ball and a basketball that they will take out with their cohort. The balls will be disinfected afterwards. Kids will sanitize before and sanitize after, which will really drop that down. So. Okay, it looks like we are hitting 5:30 straight up, and we have a whopping 51 participants. For those of you who have participated in some of my meetings, Rebecca, it was just you and I last time. I think it's the topic, maybe? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and really, there are 2 major pieces that we're going to discuss. One is and I'm putting it chronologically. So one is next week's return to recess. So I'll share how it's different than this one that we did. And I'll do a shared screen to kind of show you that. And then the return to school. And the return to school really is focusing on hybrid learning. But if you have some questions, if your child is in distance learning and you have questions, please feel free to ask, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit share screen, and let's see, hang on just a second. I lied. First I've gotta get out of this view so I can get to that. Okay. You can tell the teachers do the Zooms a lot more, right? Because I'm always looking and going, okay, and talking myself through it. There we go. Okay. You should be able to see that, and I'll scroll down as we go. Thumbs up if you can see the return to recess. Okay. So the purpose of this shared return to recess is to really look at how our cohorts are going to be, and it's also going to be so kids aren't going to come just by their class this time. They're going to come grade level cohorts, which is what will happen when we're in hybrid. Okay, they'll have recess at the same time. There's also an overlap because when we do our recesses during hybrid, I've staggered recesses. We actually have more recesses than we normally would because I have 2 grades out at a time. So we're going to share the playground. It's like 6th grade, you're gonna today be on this section of the playground, and 5th grade, you're going, so Monday, you're here, and 5th grade is here. Then the Tuesday, they'd flip-flop. Because of this, they're not gonna get to flip-flop. They're gonna get to play in one area. So when we look at this, cohort A, 6th grade, will come at 12:30 and leave at 1. 5th grade will come at 12:40, 10 minutes after, and leave at 1:10. This is also to practice that staggered recess or the staggered arrival time and leaving time. The key piece that I want you guys to pay attention to, and I'll scroll down again, is where you're going to drop your kids off and pick them up. I've purposely made alternate grades front of school, side of school, to further separate the time between when the next grade level comes. And I'm really glad I did that, because one of the glitches today with our kindergarten was that kids were still being picked up from the first round, and everybody was there, right? Because y'all just parked in the parking lot, but it takes a long time to get the kids into the car. So people were coming in before everybody had left. So there was like only 10 minutes in between there, and this will allow for more time. So this schedule was sent home via our school messenger. And we could, if necessary, we could also put a paper copy in the kids' packets that would be sent home. But just wanted to look at that here. So this, on this page, this shows all of 6. So 6th grade will come. Oh, I can see something I've cut off of here. The date. So March 1st, I will go back and add that. March 1st will be 6th grade and 5th grade. Let's just do that really quickly. Holy moly. Let me get a column in there. Insert column to the left. Okay, so this is March 1st. Oh. And this is March 1st. I'm gonna have to send it out again, aren't I? 3-2, 3-2. Okay, so I'll add those dates in there as we go, but all of 6th grade will not come on March 1st. Basically, half of 6th grade will come on March 1st, and half of 5th grade will come on March 1st. And then it will continue down through the dates, and I will get the rest of those dates. Oh, for some reason, it was just cut off of here. Great. It's correct on here. Somehow I just made those other dates disappear. Okay. All right. And I'm just going to scroll through if there are any questions on, I'm going to stop the share so I can see more of you. If there are any questions on just this piece, return to recess. Okay, Rebecca.
Follow up on a chat question. Is cohort A the Monday, Tuesday group and cohort B the Thursday, Friday group?
Good question. Cohort A, and that's why I've been, why are we calling it like these obscure names just because somebody else did? Monday, Tuesday group, Thursday, Friday group. But yes, cohort A is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday is cohort B. Great questions. And Heather, thank you for catching. If I got down then there with the, I caught it when I saw it, but if I'd read the chat first, you could have fixed me. Anyway, so I will fix those and resend them. Okay, just looking again. I'm going to scroll through this multiple screens. Any other questions about return to recess? Okay, I'll say going once.
Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, so if next week it's just, so for instance, I have a 1st grader and a 6th grader, so they're cohort B, but what I'm seeing is still a bifurcated, it's only the 6th group that's coming on cohort B on March 2nd. What's happening to my cohort B 1st grader?
Then you would be keeping your 1st grader with you. Because remember, this is only for return to recess. We are not back in hybrid yet.
No, I understand that, but I thought you had mentioned that what we're practicing is the cohorts, not by grade. And so what I'm seeing in your list is
okay.
A good grade. Question.
So let me clarify. We are practicing cohorts by grade. Last time we did it by classes, like Mr. Graves' class all came together. And Mr. Ryan's class came in another time. This time, so it's a very good clarifying question. This time, it will be Mr. Graves and Mr. Ryan's cohort A's together, which is what it will really look like during the real recess during hybrid learning. Thank you for that clarifying question.
I had a question. So actually, they're gonna start the 28th or the 23rd?
The 29th of March is when we're coming back to hybrid. So it's the Monday after spring break.
Okay, so Monday and Tuesday, right?
Correct.
Now, and they're gonna, I'm sorry, and they're gonna start 8:30 and this pretty much the same time, or?
So that, you know, I'm gonna move away from return to recess because that is the next slide when I can get the, There we go. Here we go. So here are the times, because no, it won't. It's not like we have been required to do a staggered start time and a staggered ending time.
Okay.
Okay, so it's written in reverse up here with our youngest grades, because they're the kids that we don't want our kinders running around that big playground, because again, remember, we're trying to keep kids more separate. So our TKs and Ks are going to come at 8:30. They're going to go into the classrooms. And what I will do is the recess time, that happens during class, so you didn't need to know that part, but it's kind of a combined schedule. So
Okay.
the Ks will be 8:30. And then dismissal, TK will dismiss at 11:15, and then our kinders will dismiss at 11:30.
My son, he going right now 3rd grade. So
Okay, so I'll slide down. I'm going to just kind of go through each of the grades, so people, because we have multiple grades here, we have TK through 6th grade here.
okay,
And then I will also send this out.
perfect.
Well, it'll be posted on the website too. 1st grade will be dropped off at the side gate. That's the one by room 17 and room 12, Miss Hunt's class and Miss Lisa's class. So not the side gate by the multi, but the side gate that's closer to the classrooms. 8:25. They will actually start in their class at 8:30. So they're gonna go to their class. Basically, it's gonna take them that long to get to their class. 2nd grade, they're gonna start at 8:20 at the front. So they're gonna be dropped off at the front.
Okay.
Okay? And they will also be picked up at the front.
Okay.
Dismissal time for 1st grade will be 11:40. Dismissal time for 2nd grade will be 11:50. And I know many of you are thinking, what if I have kids in more than one grade and I'll get there? Okay, because I know that that's a piece.
Okay.
3rd grade, because they're coming as early as 8:15 and they won't go into their class until 8:25, they're going to be dropped off at the side gate. They will go to the playground. Okay, and they'll have like 10 minutes of being on the playground before they line up and go to the class.
Okay.
Then 4th grade will be dropped in the front. See, because by that time, all those 2nd grade parents are or actually it's in reverse. So they'll be dropped in the front and then they'll be done by the time 2nd grade comes through. So they will also go to the playground, and we will have separate areas of the playground that they will go to by grade level.
Okay.
5th grade, and I'll just go through 6th and then I'll take some chat because I know there are people in the chat, and then we'll have some questions on this. 5th grade and 6th grade, you guys they're dropping off the earliest because, you know, we figured the 6th graders and the 5th graders, they've been here, they kind of know how to, you know, be out on the playground. And so 5th grade, they're going to drop off at 8:05 and they'll go into the classroom at 8:20. So the teachers will be in the rooms earlier than normal. Normally they would pick the kids up at recess, but they're going to be in the rooms with just kind of what we call like sponge activities. There might be a little paper for them to do, or there might be a prompt on the board, so that way they are getting some, because of this earlier dismissal, you know, we're building at least a little bit more time in with their start. And then 6th grade will be the front. Now,
Okay.
any question just about that? And I'm going to go into chat also.
So is
I
this?
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is okay. Soon if we get to take the art kids to 3rd grade, 4th grade, 1st grade, so we can be able to go to them with, you know, with the teacher, or just outside and just drop them from the car, or
Good question. You must remain in the car. So
Okay.
parents would stay in their vehicles, and somebody asked about temperature checks. So I'm going to talk about that whole piece there. So just like we practice with the recesses, that's why we've done the practice recesses. We are going to meet you at the car. We'll check the temperature of the child. The reason we're meeting you at the car, if they have a temperature, we're going to send you on your way with your child. And a
Okay.
temperature is one, I think that it's 100. It might be 100.1, but I think it's 100. Now we do have kids who walk to school. The walkers will they'll walk up to the front or to the side. If they're from Saddlebrook, they probably come across to the side. The other areas, they'll walk to the front, and then they will meet the temperature checker and to check the temperature. If they're fine, they'll go in. One point that I forgot to say, we will have stamps. They'll get a hand stamp, a different picture for each day of the week, so that if they've been stamped, we know their temperature's been checked and they're good to go.
Okay.
If a walker comes and has a temperature, at that point, we have set up, that's something that's on our school plan, we have set up an isolation room. And we have a staff member who is going to be fitted with the N95, the face shield, the full gowns and such, that will be able to monitor the child in the isolation room, and we will contact the parent to pick them up. Let me look. Okay, I have who to contact if you don't remember the model. Send me an email if you don't remember whether your daughter is in hybrid or what cohort, or it's posted online, but it's posted by student ID. So you can either call Kathy in the office or you can email me and I can look that up for you. And then Melissa, you said, well, you have to that's a good question. Do you have to drop off at different places? No. So let's say you have multiple kids. What would be best for us, and I'm sorry, but choose one. Your kids can drop off at the same place and at the same time. Now, the difficult piece is if you have, and I think you do, you have a sixth grader and then you have a kinder. So you could drop them both off at 8:30, and then the sixth grader would just go into class at 8:30.
Okay. I could drop them off at the same time. Perfect.
Yeah, you can drop them off at the same time.
But I cannot pick them up at the same place.
Yeah, and the same place, but we would just need to know. Yeah.
Could I let know I would want that?
Yeah, we can definitely pick them. Now, here's the other piece. If you have a younger child and an older child, when you come to pick up your younger child, you may pick up your older child too. Now, what I would say is, like, let's say you have a first grader, that's 11:40, and you have a sixth grader, that's 12:30. So you have to understand, if you pick them up at the same time, they're missing an hour of their learning.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to pause a real quick bit just to look at these other questions. Make sure I've got those. Oh, second recess is not mandatory. That's it. It still is. It's a voluntary thing. So when we do the second recess, it's voluntary. Contacted, got that one. Temperature check. No, it is not too late. If you wanted to change your child from hybrid to distance, you can still do so. Please contact me ASAP. Or if you wanted to change your child from distance to hybrid, please contact me ASAP. With school supplies, we are restocking the classrooms with the crayons and the things that we would have. Sanitizers, you guys have excellent questions. There's a hand sanitizer in every classroom, and then we will have hand washing stations, one on the kinder playground, one in the upper playground, and then they would, they can, and then we're also going to hit them with the hand sanitizer when they come in. So confirming, can you drop your first grader off with the fifth grader at 8:05? If it is all possible to drop that fifth grader later than 8:05, that would be better. The concern is that the first grader then is going to be out in a totally different cohort group because we're not going to have a first grade area, but we'll figure that out as best we can. And the kindergarten,
Tracy,
yes.
it's Melanie. If I drop my first grader or my fifth grader off when I drop my first grader off, she's missed 5 minutes of class.
Yeah, if you could, so let's look at fifth grade when their actual class time is, 8:20.
And Dylan's drop off isn't until 8:25.
Yeah, so, okay, I thought you were talking the 8:05 time, sorry.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was thinking was I would drop them both off at the 8:05 time. But if I drop Riley off at Dylan's time, the first grade time, then she's 5 minutes late to start time.
She wouldn't if you dropped her off at the 8:20 time. She would go right, or like 8:15. So Riley would go straight into her fifth grade room because the classwork starts at 8:05. Because the 8:05 to 8:20, I mean, she'll miss some recess time.
But I can drop Dylan off early then?
Well, let's
go. Drop off is 8:25.
Yeah, that kind of splits the difference. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, a 5 minute. I am not gonna go wiggle worming any 5 minutes on things. We'll figure that out. And
okay.
We had a question like that with the 8:20 kindergarten time, and I wasn't able to answer that question earlier in the week, but I was able to hire another classified person. So now I have some more yards. I had no supervision for kindergarten yard, but now I do. So if you have a kindergartner and you needed to drop off a little bit early, then I will have somebody there.
I had another question. The SBB able to, Boys Crossing Club, I don't know if they're gonna open with you guys over there in Mar West. Is still gonna be possible?
So I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit on this one. They are still investigating that. What we have done is we have put all of our ECC kids into the same cohort, and now it seems like there's some guidance that you can have what you call 2 stable cohorts. But if your child is enrolled in ECC, you will need to wait to hear from them whether they can be in hybrid, and we're hoping that will happen.
No, Boys Crossing Club, yeah.
Yeah, Boys and Girls Club, they're fine.
They're gonna open?
They're not going to open on campus right now. I think that Mr. Calloway will be putting some information out tomorrow about Boys and Girls Club and how that will work, because he has been working with them the past few days. So I don't have that for you now, but we should have some information out either tomorrow or next week for that.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, concern about families traveling during spring break and then attending school the next week. So I just got to note that my internet is unstable. So if I freeze, bear with me. Yeah, there's definitely some concern with that. My understanding, because we're in the purple zone, if you traveled in within 14 days, or if you travel, you still have to quarantine, is my understanding, but I could be wrong there. We are sending home some magnets, the other that will have a kind of a screening questionnaire that is going to become part of your daily routine, to just ask yourself the questions about fever, travel, all of those pieces. So know that we want to stay open, and the way we can stay open is if we are all safe. So just follow those county guidelines.
Mrs. Kendall, will there be more than one person at each station dropping off, taking temperatures?
That's how we've been practicing it with 2 people. But it might be that because I also have to have supervision on the yard for kids that are out there. We're going to practice next week with just 1 during our recess and see what it looks like. And if it looks like it's not working, but I mean, I have limited personnel, but if I'm out there doing the temperature checks with the other person, and Kathy and Christine will be helping up in the front. So we've done it with 2. That works really smoothly. But what I would say is we're going to try it with 1 and see if that still works. If not, drop back and punt. So Andrea, with the students going out of town, we have to follow the whatever the county health guidelines say right now, and I think that's what they say right now. Our numbers have gone down. They inched back up to 14.2, I think. They'd been down to like 13.8 or something, but generally they are dropping off. If you have a late student, yeah, bring them to the office. We'll check the temperature there and send them to class. Let me just go through and make sure I've got everything.
Mrs. Kendall, this is Zachariah's mom. I see dismissal time. I couldn't see it before. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard, and I will send. I will make sure that these are also posted on our website. Actually, this is on the. Well, it's not specific to. Yeah, it is. This is on the district website. The one that the ingress and egress. It is on the district website under the COVID-19 tabs. So
the kids, Zachariah's used to bringing a snack with him, so he's just not going to bring a snack.
we want them to bring snacks because we're not going to be able to provide snack. But this is what we're going to put out to parents, especially. And so this doesn't really match with Zachariah. He actually knows how to open his own snacks. But our paras, our yard supervisors, are not going to be able to handle your child's food to help them open things. So in these next 3 weeks, find some snacks that you can send your kiddo that they can open themselves. The goal, what the goal for the snack time, so there's a 15-minute recess block. The goal is the teacher would take them out about 5 minutes before the recess and kind of supervise that 5 minutes of them starting their snack. And then the yard supervisors would come out. The upper grade kids, they are gonna so love this because I would get after them, all the time. You gotta sit down to eat, you gotta sit down to eat. But this time, if they want to, they can stand up. That being said, they will have, we've marked off the tables that they're 3 people at a table, 2 on the corners and 1 in the middle of the other side. So there's 6 feet between all of them. So there is some time for people to sit. Space, I mean. Side gate is not between the multi and the block classrooms. The side gate is the gate that is closer to the teacher's classroom. So like up by the dumpsters. So they'll walk on the sidewalk up by the dumpsters. So right by the classrooms. Oops, can't see 6th grade. There we go. So I'd like to, because we have some questions about what's going on for hybrid. Thank you, Heather. Very good question. And Mallory. So I would like to show kind of a sample, kind of a sample schedule of what it would look like, not during the teacher's days, but during the at-home days. Because some key pieces, This will show some of the supports that there will be for students while they're at home. And so let me just pull that up. Which one is it? There. And there is kind of a sample on the district website also that's just very generic. And this has all the grades. This community meeting might not happen with your teacher for a 30-minute block, you know, at this time, because they have the pardon me, they have the leeway to meet in, you know, with all of the kids together at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, but they are going to take attendance for both the at-home learners and the in-school learners. So there will be contact with the teacher in that manner. The other things that will happen during the day is they will have they won't have library every day, but if they're at home Monday, Tuesdays, either Monday or Tuesday, the librarian is going to check in with them. They're going to do a check-in and a story. There will be the small reading groups that are happening now. That's where I put in, like Mrs. Pardo, the reading teacher, the paras will be involved in that, and they will be able to take the kids in, you know, 5, well, the older grades will have maybe 7 kids in a group, but the goal is to have like 5 to 7 kids in a group. So this 9:30 time, first grade, 9:30 to 10, that's when there will be a small reading group with a paraprofessional and or the reading teacher or you know, Mr. Bat. So there will be that going on. These yellow blocks have lots of things listed after them because this is where our counselors will try to push in for friendship circles, or the teachers would have posted a PE video or a music video. Our 3rd graders will probably have because they just had their recorders sent home, so they will probably be doing the recorders at that time. 6th grade, they will have some math support in addition to their small group reading. So there will be multiple contacts through the day that then also work with here, like these white blocks. And again, this is a sample. Like they'll be working on their packet work or their reading work. Yes, this is the at home days. They, you know, I don't know why we have to make everything like 10 syllables in education. Asynchronous day is the at-home time.
And
So,
Mrs. Kendall, why aren't the teachers teaching on those days?
because they're teaching the kids who are in the classroom.
And so there's no option for the students at home to listen in to what's going on in the classroom? Are we effectively slowing down the curriculum because the only teaching day is actually the 2 days the students are in school?
Yes, the teaching days are the 2 days that are in school. What we're finding is the social and emotional well-being of students is one of the biggest pieces for kids right now. So the white blocks of time are the time that they would be working through the seesaw packets if they're in, you know, and a lot of the teachers push out, they push out the, you know, video lessons to support the learning and such. So they would be working on whether it's through watching a video and doing the work, but the times that they would be with adults would be during these colored blocks.
So basically, if my son, he's gonna go Monday and Tuesday, so that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, he's not gonna be able to go to Zoom with the teacher.
They will Zoom with the teacher at least 2 times, but they are not going to, because the teacher isn't going to be able to teach the kids in the class and Zoom with the other kids at the same time.
So he's gonna have independent work, pretty much.
Yes, there will be independent work, but not completely, because they've got the math teacher supporting,
Okay.
and the reading teacher and the paras just like they do now. So this is kind of like, I would reckon this like when the kids are in school and we're not doing this kind of stuff that we've been forced into, we have breakout time where a teacher takes a group of kids and their paraprofessional takes a group of kids.
If this program is pretty much is good for the kids, can you guys add another extra day, like 3 days through the week, like teaching 3 days?
Well,
And
right now, because we have only 5 days in a week, there's 2 days for half and 2 days for the other half. Now, Wednesdays, we're still going to keep up with Warren Wednesdays. I had some requests to just show a little bit further the schedules, so we'll go on a little bit. So basically, divided up in the day would be reading, I'm just going to call it either packet or seesaw work, reading work and math work, and time for the kids to be with small groups with our instructional support in reading or math, and then library for computer lab and library. So there are multiple times during the day where adults will be working with the kids, but no, it will not be their classroom teacher all day.
okay.
Mrs. Kendall, I think you were pointing out that this information is available on the district website, but the district website's rather sparse.
Yes, because theirs has, remember, they're district-wide. That had to be a very generic piece that just kind of listed that these chunks would happen.
Right, I guess at some point, are you going to post a link exactly where within the website to find that?
Oh, yes, yes. Let me see if I can, gosh, I wonder if I can find it really quickly again. Okay, let's just go over there. Okay. Slowly opening, slowly. Here we go. Okay. Better be where I found it the first time. Okay, let's see. Okay, table of progress towards reopening. And then there's this long list of things. Here's our plan, the school guidance. There's cleaning and disinfecting protocols. And down here, there should be a sample schedule. Sure, that's where, because I actually didn't even realize they had posted a generic, but I think it's in this one. There's a timeline, and I think way down here, I lied. Okay, I will post it when I find it again. I actually did pull it up for this, to look and see if it was going to really show us what we needed to see for our meeting, but it didn't seem to really show the right piece, so.
And this website, I can find the which days my son is gonna go, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday. So
Yes.
how I okay.
So, well, not what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Mark West Elementary site.
Okay.
Let me just go back to there. They really need to do that where once I'm in, I don't have to keep going back and clicking it again. Okay. And those cohort classes should be posted on here. There, it'll be right here.
Oh, Tiger's Tail.
Yep, it'll say, and it's by your student's ID number.
Okay.
Okay. So for example, we have some kindergartners who are doing distance. They are not going to be with our teachers. They are going to be with Miss Beseda. She is a teacher. She is a teacher over at Rebley. There's a one teacher for each of the grade levels.
Okay.
So Yes, thank you. Andrea, there is a sample schedule in the agenda item, and I know it was on this website also because I pulled it up and I thought, I wonder if I should show this. I thought, no, I really should show the one that is more like ours. So basically the kids at home, kind of similar to right now, they would be finishing the upper grade, they're going to be finishing up their work 1 to 1:30. The primary, they're going to be finishing up their work at like 12:30. But they will have supports from other people through there.
So if my son needs help with something, he can reach the teacher or somebody else? Okay.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
that's what these office hours are for. If a
Okay.
child is struggling with anything, the teachers are going to be setting up times where, just like they do now, with the you know, when you can Zoom with me if you need help for math, when you can Zoom with me to help
Okay.
for those pieces. So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, hybrid starts on the 29th. So it's the first day after we're back from spring break.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to make sure. Thank you for finding the PowerPoint, which includes that schedule. And the link is in the chat if people want to pull that up. All right. So I'm going to pull that down for right now and take any general questions. I do, Rebecca, I see your hand up. I'll get right to you. I do want to let you know that Rachel Valenzuela will be holding a meeting in Spanish, and she should be putting that information out next, I believe next week as to when that meeting will be. I'm going to share my recording with her also, and the other principals will be sharing that recording so that they will be able to, she will be able to see what questions that you guys came up with and be able to address those same questions. Oh, did I say April 29th? The first day back from spring break. That's March 29th. Sorry, Melissa. Good catch. Okay, Rebecca.
Okay, so you answered one of my questions about what was happening with the distant learning, that basically there's no addition, I didn't mean distant learning, but for the days that the kids are not on campus, essentially, other than a couple of these block times, we're on our own to keep them going through their schedule.
Yeah, there is not direct instruction from the teacher under the hybrid model.
Okay. In regards to the drop off and pick up, if you have two kids, you know, that are fairly spread apart in their age, I mean, it ends up, I get that you mentioned that we can drop the kids off at the same time.
Yes.
So like my 6th grader gets dropped off at 8 o'clock, my 1st grader not until 8:25, but potentially we can drop the 1st grader off earlier.
Yes.
But this then becomes a 50-minute separation towards the end of the day. Or basically you're telling us our 6th grader is going to have to miss class because you don't have any ability to do anything with the 1st grader. 50 minutes is a long time for us to be wandering around somewhere in the area.
I do hear your concerns. We have to have a graduated or a staggered egress because we can't have everybody going out at the same time. You know, I share your concern with that much time missed. I really do. This was the best compromise that we could come up with.
Are they only doing a half day, essentially, because you have no ability to do lunch on campus?
No, not really. The half day right now is because we need to, that's one way to support those kids who are at home. By then the teacher can check back in with those kids who were at home.
Okay.
So, and you know, if things could happen, you know, to where we could come back full time, that'd be great. That's what we all want. That's what we really all want.
Yeah, I commend all of what you guys are trying to do and the stress, but this whole hybrid plan is basically what you guys have set up is something that so the kids can socialize for a couple of days to get the social benefit. But I agree with some of the concerns of the parents here. This is coming at a huge cost to the educational part.
Well, they are definitely getting 3 hours of direct instruction with their teachers. It is less. It's 2 days. It's 2 days a week instead of 4 days a week of the direct face-to-face interaction and instruction for the students.
And then what's going to happen with like end of the year testing and stuff, trying to operate under a hybrid model?
We are still getting guidance from the state. The state was to have sent a letter to the federal government, and we are waiting to find out what that entails. So whether testing is waived, whether it's not, but honestly, I don't think any state testing results are going to be a valid indication of anything right now. We haven't had real schooling. You know, you guys have all worked your tails off. I know that. You know, you have been such wonderful partners in the education here for your children, and have really gone above and beyond. But just, I mean, the fact that you know, fitting it in 2 days a week, or we're going to do that, you know, so that I don't think that the testings would give us any valid results. My thought is we're going to get real results again next year, and this is going to be one of those blips. The state testing doesn't impact any child's ability to go to state testing at elementary, doesn't affect any child's ability to enter college or anything like that. They're not going to look back at their 5th grade SBAC results. I don't think that the results will be valid, but if they require us to do it, we'll have to figure out a way to do it.
Mrs. Kendall, are the children bringing their Chromebooks to school on the days that they come to school, or do they leave them at home?
They should bring, well, you know, I'm going to say to follow the direction of your teacher on that. I know
Okay.
6th grade will need to, because their language arts program is an online program. So if the teachers feel that the kids have enough screen time and really want to make sure that they're doing non-screen time things, they will let you know. But be prepared, if that is the case, to have them charged up, have the devices charged up before. Good question.
And then will they have reading groups? You know, right now they have split reading groups, so they'll be moving classroom to classroom. Does that mean that?
No, we cannot move from classroom to classroom.
Okay.
So yeah, that has been made very clear. There are a few exceptions that have been made, but I'm really not clear on them yet. It seems that there could be kind of a 2 secure cohorts. So for example, if a student is in special, right now the goal is to serve special education students still through distance learning, but you know, with our RSP teacher to serve in that manner. But if there are students who have not been able to be reached during distance learning, they're looking at, can they have a separate kind of cohort pulling out of the hybrid learning. We're trying not to pull them out of their teacher though, because if you look at it this way, they'll have their teacher almost like with only 10 kids in the room in some classes. The most would be like, even our upper grade will be like 13 in a classroom. So one teacher, only 13 kids for, 3.5 hours.
And they'll be you'll have them wearing the mask while they're on campus the entire
Absolutely.
time? Okay.
Yep, we'll have masks, and we also have air scrubbers in the room, which cycle through the air, and the directions are basically, the CDC has not put out super good guidance about ventilation, but basically they're going to either be wearing or running the scrubbers, or they have a window, like cross ventilation between a door and the window. So we would probably incorporate some of the things that ECC has done. I mean, face it, they have been doing this for, all through the summer and through schooling so far. Some kids, if they need, a mask break, they can step outside, pull down, if they feel they need something like that. It was just amazing to me how fast those kids were running around with their masks on, playing tag at recess. Vanessa?
I had a quick question about the masks and the supplying of them. My kindergartner, he likes to like chew on them, and they get disgusting after an hour, and I'm always having to give him new ones. Is that something that I just need to kind of put in his backpack? Costco has a bunch of kids' masks that you can order that are disposable, or will the classroom be providing them?
The district did purchase a supply of student masks. Now, if he's chewing up his mask every day, I don't know if I have enough for like 3 a day on a child, but definitely we do have student masks. For example, we had a student today that had a mask that wasn't well fitting. And so I had her just tuck her mask into her pocket, and I gave her one of the school masks, which now would become hers. They're not pretty, they're not decorative, they're just plain white, but they are double fabric. So somebody asked about, can they wear the gator type mask, or do they have to be the ones that go over the ears? I'm going to say I don't know for sure, but I believe that because grocery stores and allow the gator type masks, that could be, but I will check. So
That's not a CDC recommendation, Tracy.
Right. Yeah, so that's why I don't really know that, because it is not one of the types recommended by the CDC. So I will double check on that, because I believe not. I think they have to be the double, at least the 2-ply material. But thank you, Rebecca, because, okay.
Hey, Tracy.
Yes.
This is Heather Lord. I just kind of want to go back to, I'm like echoing concerns that I've heard from a lot of parents about the independent days, the 3 days at home. And you gave that sample schedule, but will there be grade specific schedules for each child before this hybrid starts? Because
Absolutely.
I think the concern is this is going to go back to how last spring was, where they saw their teachers for a couple days and then it went back onto the parents, which is a really big burden for parents. The kids are now used to the schedule of seeing their teachers several times a day. And I can't speak for everyone's child, but I think that they've finally gotten to this groove, and then there's this huge disruption for 2 months of schooling, 6 hours a week. So are they going to be supported by paras or other teachers on those days off, so the burden is not on the parents? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, so the schedules will be posted. With the schedule that you saw, all the white stuff, that is, I told the teachers, you can't touch the colored blocks because
right, I caught that.
So I told them, especially the purple, don't you touch the purple or the blue, because the librarian, I have to be able to schedule, right? And then my reading teachers, so those will be, they will definitely have contact with either paraprofessionals or reading teacher or librarian. I mean, paraprofessionals or reading teacher will be daily when they're home. And then the librarian will be one of their 2 days. And then they will also have the counseling team will be meeting with them also. So those are like the individuals that will be contacting and supporting the kids.
But there will be specific schedules for like
Yes.
4th grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And that's
had to
gonna go
show
out in the
you
next
guys,
3
yeah.
weeks before
Yeah.
the start.
Oh, I will get it out. Basically, I will get it out, quickly. So basically, I think that when I look at, like what I showed you was my master schedule, because I have to figure out all 6 grades. You don't need to see that. You want to see your grade. And that's what I will be able to put out that will be easier for parents to look at. Okay, what about my child? I want to be able to see that with all this other stuff. So that will be out shortly. I will make a goal. I know that it will be out. I will try to do it before this, but I will. I'm going to put the 10th as my goal to get those schedules out.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. You guys have such great questions. So a question about if you can't get the kids at a different time, then pick them up at the younger child's time. And I really do think that, if, and again, back to 2 people, well, I think it was Rebecca and Melanie, because you both have like a kindergartner and a kinder or first and a 6th. If what works for you is to drop them off at that earlier time, just let me know, and I will figure out a way to keep your first graders safe while the others are up there. I will figure that out. That's what we need to do.
Mrs. Kendall, does the distance learning model have sort of the same Zoom schedules that they have now? Is that if
It will be very similar, but I also have to put a caveat for that, because again, I don't know what the Zoom schedule for some of the other, the other teachers at different schools were. I can say that Lisa DeCozen, Miss Lisa, is going to be our 3rd grade distance teacher. I was prepared to tell the 1st grade distance teacher, but I think that they're doing some switching around, and I think it's going to be to our benefit. And our 2nd grade distance teacher will be Mrs. Cervoni. Those are the distance teachers that are doing distance teaching from our staff. That means that the kindergarten is going to be from another school. The 4th grade teacher will be from another school. And so these next few weeks, that the teachers are going to start having some articulation meetings. So, for example, Mrs. Cervoni has Mark West students, and she has some San Miguel students. So she's going to be meeting with the teachers from San Miguel, because she knows what our 2nd grade team do, because they work together like this. So she will be meeting with the 2nd grade teachers from San Miguel to see where their kids are at, what level they're at, what story they were on, what math were they on, so that she will be able to help support those kids too.
and Mrs. Kendall, if there's what contact tracing program is in place if one of the kids starts to exhibit symptoms?
Oh, that's a really good one. And it's so right now, so I'll kind of go through some of those pieces. One thing that will be happening is staff will be there will be testing protocols for staff. We do not know if there will be testing protocols for students yet, if we're going to require that. That being said, if we receive notification that a student has a positive test, or if the family lets us know, because once, like if I have a child and I get a positive test, my child would have to quarantine also. So that knowledge would come to the school. At that point, then the nurse is responsible for helping with the contact tracing. And so that's where that gets instituted. So the contact tracing.
Is there a plan in place? Is there something, I mean, I hate to be the doomsday person, but if for some reason the stimulus is that we have to shut down because there's, I don't know, a spreading infection rate, is there a plan for that? Is there a schedule
Yes.
that says, okay, everybody goes back to the Zoom this way?
So one of the things that triggers that, so I'll go, and again, this could change because things change, right? And so here's the piece. Let's say a student has a positive test, or an adult has a positive test, like the teacher had a positive test in one classroom. That classroom gets closed and they all are quarantined, everybody's contacted, and then they go through I think it's actually 10-day now. I keep saying 14, but I think they changed, it's 10 now. Now, if two separate classes have a positive case, then our school, this is just current, it could change, but right now, then our school would have to shut down and revert to distance learning. If a school shuts down, currently, it says that if 25% of a district shuts down, then the whole district shuts down. We have 4 schools. One school shuts down, the district shuts down. So I will say that all staff have been offered vaccination, and all staff have had opportunity for their first round. Most staff, their second round is during the week of March 15th through the 19th. So, that's when their second round would come up. So there's that part. 2 really good questions in there. In the chat, one, if we look at when we're coming back to school, and so let me get it right this time, March 29th, that week on Friday is a non-instructional day. So, but the following week, Monday, is a non-instructional day. So the cohorts will stay the same. So we won't change. But if there's a non-instructional day, like if there's a day off, like I've got to go back up, like Memorial Day, then the idea is that we would then we would put this out ahead of time. So there'd be like a cohort A would go on the Tuesday and cohort B would go on the Wednesday. So we try to kind of balance out so everybody gets the same number of days. Plan for substitute teachers. All of the principals will be substitute teachers. Ron Calloway will be a substitute teacher. Rachel Valenzuela, our Director of Student Services, will be a substitute teacher. Lisa Warren, our Warren Wednesday teacher, will be a substitute teacher. And Mark West is blessed because we have 5 student teachers, 3 of whom already have their subcards, and the others are in process. So that we are not going to be bringing in outside substitute teachers. We will be internal. Okay. Melissa, no, it is not mandatory for staff to be vaccinated. So it's offered but not mandatory to be vaccinated. In a contract type agreement between hybrid participant parents and the school stating they agree to report positive, that I'm going to write that question down. Actually, I'm going to make sure I save the chat. I know that right now with even with the daily health checks, it's an honor system that you're going to get the magnet, and the vacation part is on there too, and you need to be able to answer those questions. No, I don't have a fever, or no, my child doesn't have a fever. No, they don't have any signs of COVID. No, nobody in the family has within this. So we've got all those questions that were provided to us. We've actually made them into really nice refrigerator magnets, and you'll get one home. But a contract, I I will ask, I will put that in my questions from the chat. Okay. Are there any other questions? Yes, Christina Fulmer. The whole school can shut down if your kindergartner and your fourth grader tested positive for COVID. The nice thing is, and you know, maybe I'm just being an optimist here, but the numbers really are looking a lot better, and our county numbers are tending and trending down. So I think that and as vaccines become more available out in the public, you know, that's going to help also. Not everybody would be vaccinated, but it will help. Some information I read, I don't, you know, it was a report from the CDC based on a study. I don't know if it was I think there was a Stanford study, I don't know which study, but anyway, they said 90% of the COVID cases which happened in schools happened between teacher to teacher, not teacher to student or student to teacher. They were teacher to teacher. So we are really reinforcing to teachers, you keep your masks on. If you're in your room by yourself and you don't have your mask, that's fine, you know, right now, but you don't go into another person's room. You know, they don't get to eat together. We still have our staff meetings on Zoom. So, you know, we're really working on those pieces. I think I said earlier, if you need to change your model, whether you're going to change from hybrid to distance or distance to hybrid, email me, let me know, or call the office.
Miss Kendall, sorry, sorry, Miss Kendall. I have another question. Well, my understanding, some people, they don't have symptoms, even they had the COVID, but they don't have any fever, they don't have any, you know, and they can transmit it to other people, even if they don't have any system. So what is the situation that you guys, you know, if maybe a student have the C19, but because of the teacher, or vice versa, you know, you never know. So what's gonna happen in that situation? Or what you guys can do?
Well, if the only way we will know if somebody, you know, if there is somebody who's asymptomatic and they never have a symptom, we won't be able to know that. The only way we would be able to know that is that that person gave COVID to somebody else who had then had a positive test. That information is reported to us. And it would be reported through contact. If the person wasn't honest about it, you know, and let us know, it would be through contact tracing that we would be notified. So the county would be working on the contact tracing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tracy?
Heather, let me get this one question in the chat. How will we be told if someone in our child's class has been exposed? So if there was exposure in a classroom, then there are letters that would be going out. I don't know any of you who, you know, who might have had kids in, you know, childcare either on campus or off campus. But there's kind of a form letter that would be sent out. If we had to do a quarantine in a classroom, a form letter would be sent out, and then contact tracing would be started. Heather?
Yeah, sorry, and if you already answered this, just let me know and I'll re-listen. But so if the school gets shut down and you go back to distance learning, are kids going back to their original class, including the kids that were in distance and maybe had a different teacher? Do they go back to their original class, or how is that working?
Okay, that's a really good question that I don't have an answer for right now, Heather. My assumption my assumption would be that they would keep the class they now have assigned to them.
No, sir.
meaning that they would stay, so if they're, cohort A and B would stay with that teacher, and the kids that went distance would stay with that teacher. Okay.
Correct. And I believe so. And that would be my assumption, is the way that we would do that. So somebody asked COVID screening. The COVID screening that's done, we check temperatures. There we go. The screening that happens is the family responsibility. Right now, my responsibility before I come into my work is I take my temperature. I do an oxygen meter too, but that's just because it's cool. But I take my temperature and then I fill out a health screening form before I come to work. Your responsibility as a parent is to go through those questions and help protect all of us. And if your child has a fever, or if anyone in your family has tested positive for COVID or had symptoms of COVID, your responsibility as a parent is to keep your child home to protect all of us. So that's, that's the screening that we, it's family screening, and we take temperatures.
Ms. Kendo, another question. What about if the kid, he don't has COVID, but he has flu or coughing or something? What you guys,
keep them home.
What you guys gonna do about?
If they're sick, keep them home. Now, let's say what happens at school. The interesting thing is they're finding that, man, the flu is just not out there, maybe because we're all wearing masks. But if your kid comes, if your child wakes up and they're fine and they come to school and then they start feeling sick, then that's when we would check their temperature. Some of those pieces, they would be moved into the isolation room.
Okay.
And then we would call you. And then we would also call our nurse. I will tell you, we have the best school nurse, you guys. The nurse in our district, she's the one that was helping to organize all these teacher vaccination clinics and such. She's wonderful. She is my right-hand person whenever I have a question. But if they were in the isolation room, we have a staff member that will be trained. Actually, I'm going to be trained as a backup. We'll have the N95 fitted mask, the full gowns, the face shield, and we would call parents to come pick that child up. And we would ask for follow-up for that. Great, thank you. So, and it would kind of be just like during normal school. If your kiddo is sick and goes home, it could be that it's something else. I mean, we're all kind of stuck on this one, understandably so, but it could be anything else. And so, the work would be sent home, or and time allowed to make that up, just like normal. Okay, great, thank you. Rebecca?
Can you clarify when you said that there would be a follow-up? Would that be the follow-up is that you need to take your child and get a PCR test done so that we have results within, 24 to 72 hours?
I don't believe that we're required to tell them what kind of test to take, but I'm going to follow up with Nurse Annie.
Yeah, it seems
what will the follow-up be for a child that is sent to the isolation room? Good question.
Yeah, because you're going to need to initiate contact tracing right away.
Yep. And that's what she's so good at. So what follow-up occurs if a child is in the isolation room? Okay. All right. Well, I'm thinking that we are about to wrap up, but I do want, if you think of a question later, email me, because we're going to be creating some frequently asked questions, not just from you, but from the other principal meetings as well. And then we will, if we don't have the answers right now, we will make sure and get them to you. And I just want to repeat again that our hybrid starts on March 29th, the first day after spring break. I'm sorry that, I made that slip. So, yeah, and thank you, Amanda, yes. This is any symptoms that could be COVID, you know, if they're not feeling well, stay home, stay home. So, great. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for your really, really good questions. I will be posting the recording on the district website. I will also be copying the chat so that I can make sure and get those questions. If I didn't get them answered, I'll include them into the frequently asked questions and get answers for you. All right, you guys are great. Love y'all, man. You guys have been working so hard. I wouldn't be in any other district except working with you. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Kendall.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Turn your faces on real quick. I gotta see you.
Miss Kendall, before you leave, I have a question for you, not about this, about the yearbook.
Perfect. Wow. Awesome.
Thank you, Miss Kendall.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Ms.
Bye.
Kendall.
Say goodbye to Kendall, Betsy.
Bye. Oh, I saw some kids. Yay. Got the chat covering some kids. Oh. Hey, how are you?
He wants to say hi so bad, so just really quick.
Well, I'm glad you did. How are you
How much fun
doing?
you had today, really quick.
I had so much fun at the park with you, Miss Kendall.
At recess,
Did
that's
you?
cool. You're gonna get to go there.
Stick on your face.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad to hear that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for all your hard work.
You are welcome, and thank you for all you have been doing.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to turn off the recording.